Hello students, I welcome you all to this virtual learning online platform. Presently, we are dealing with sentences in English. More particularly, I started discussing simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. So far, we completed simple sentences in English. Now, in this class, I would like to proceed further with the second type, that is compound sentences in English. So friends, let us try to understand what do you mean by a compound sentence in English. Already I told you, sentence is nothing but a group of words arranged in a specific order acceptable to the grammar of a respective language. It has its own complete comprehensive meaning. So far, we talked about simple sentences in English along with a few examples. Now, in this class, I would like to deal with compound sentences in English. First of all, try to understand what do you mean by a compound sentence. A compound sentence has at least two independent clauses that have related ideas. If you try to compare and contrast with the first type that you learned, that is simple sentences with the compound sentences, you will realize that a simple sentence has a subject and a predicate. Right? It means you will find only one subject and only one predicate. Here you have a compound sentence, and at least two independent clauses are found in such kind of tenses. Right? You have a compound sentence that has at least two independent clauses. Mind it well, there is a difference between dependent clause and independent clause. Independent clause is a kind of clause that can stand on its own. Whereas a dependent clause is a clause that is depending on others. So here in compound sentences, you have at least two independent clauses and they generally process the related ideas. The independent clauses can be joined by a coordinating conjunction. How do you bring two different ideas or two different clauses expressed in one? You take the help of coordinating conjunctions. See, the coordinating conjunctions like for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. These are the 7 coordinating conjunctions which are required in order to create a compound sentence. Let us talk about a coordinating conjunction. What do you mean by a coordinating conjunction? A coordinating conjunction is a word that can join two elements of equal grammatical rank and syntactic importance. Let us try to understand this definition. What do you mean by a coordinating conjunction? It is a word, already I gave you the examples also. So it is a word that joins two elements. But what kind of two elements? the two elements have equal grammatical rank and the two elements have equal syntactic importance. So when these two are brought together with a conjunction, especially a coordinating conjunction, then only you can form a compound sentence. So these coordinating conjunctions join two verbs. See, what are the things that can be joined by a coordinating conjunction? You can join two verbs, you can join two nouns, you can join two adjectives, you can join two phrases, you can also join two independent clauses. And when, more particularly, you join two independent clauses, mind it well, you call that kind of sentence as a compound sentence. Let us look at a few more details of the coordinating conjunction. A coordinating conjunction connects a word, phrases, or clauses that are equally, especially, grammatically equal. In other words, you can say that a coordinating conjunction can join several nouns or several phrases or several clauses also. So what are these coordinating conjunctions? Earlier also I talked about it. They are and, but, or, no, fa, or fur you can say, yes or so, and yet. So let us try to understand how do we really form a compound sentence. See here, my friend promised me to meet, but he did not come. See here, my friend promised me to meet is one clause, which is an independent clause, has a complete meaning. Another independent clause is there, he did not come. So these two different clauses, okay, are processing a kind of idea which is correlated. And now we have used a coordinating conjunction, but that's why you could form a compound sentence here like this. How is the sentence? My friend promised me to meet, but he did not come. My friend is the third person singular number. Promised is a verb. Since it is V2, promise, promised, promised, promising, promises. Okay, these are the various forms of this particular verb. So since it has come in the simple past, V2 form, so the sentence is in simple past only. So the sentence says, my friend promised me to meet. I was promised by my friend. My friend promised me. Me is the object here. What was the promise made by my friend? He promised me to meet, but did he come? No, he didn't. So the sentence is like this. My friend promised me to meet, but he didn't come, or he did not come. But is a word that is a coordinating conjunction bringing two different independent clauses together. And that's why it is an example of a compound sentence. Let us look at another sentence here. Okay, let me focus a few more things about the first sentence. As I said, my friend promised me to meet is the first independent clause. Likewise, he did not come is also an independent clause. See here, he is the subject. Did not come is the verb phrase. Not is a word of negation. Did indicates past tense. Come is the base form. So he did not come. This is another independent clause. So one independent clause is my friend promised me to come. One, he did not come. Two. So these two independent clauses are brought together, combined together with the help of a coordinating conjunction but, and that's why this sentence is formed, which is called a compound sentence. My friend promised me to meet, but he did not come. Now you see the second sentence. The night passes and the dawn brings a new day. The night passes. Okay, every day. It's a natural phenomenon. It happens every day without fail. As soon as the night passes, every morning brings a new day. This is the meaning of the sentence. So the sentence is the night subject. Okay, it is third person singular number. You will use it for the night. Passes, P-A-S-S, is the base form. Passes is the S form, S or ES form, as you call it. Okay, so you have, this is the first independent truth. The dawn brings a new day. The dawn means morning. Okay, the dawn, this is the early time of the morning, is the subject, brings verb. It is in the S form, that is present form, a new day. So here you have two independent clauses. The night passes, one. The dawn brings a new day, another. So these two independent clauses are brought together with the help of a coordinating conjunction and. So the sentence goes like this. The night passes and the dawn brings a new day. See the third sentence. I'm talking about Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin is a humble person and a record-holding batsman. Okay. How is Sachin? As far as his disposition, temperament, behavior is concerned, Sachin is a very humble person. Is the first independent clause. And another is, he is a record-holding batsman. See, a humble person and a record-holding batsman, these two important features of Sachin are brought together with the help of a coordinating conjunction and. So Sachin is a humble person, one statement or one independent clause. Sachin is a record-holding batsman is another important, independent clause of the same. So this is how we generally combine, independent clauses together. That really makes a compound sentence. Let us look at another sentence here. Kishore works as a teacher, but Gayatri works as a nurse. Maybe Kishore and Gayatri, either they are the couple or they are the brother and sister, whatever. So we talk about the two independent people of the same family. So Kishore works as a teacher, whereas Gayatri works as a nurse, right? So Kishore works as a teacher is one sentence, but Gayatri works as a nurse is another sentence. See, these two independent clauses are brought together with the word but. So there is a comparison between two, Kishore and Gayatri. Kishore works as a teacher, but Gayatri works as a nurse. It means Gayatri does not work as a teacher. She works as something else. That is how this but is used over here. Another sentence. She was late to work, so her boss scolded her. Two independent clauses are brought together. She was late to work, right? She is the third person singular number. She got late to work. Since she was late to work, of course, the boss will scold. So what happened? Second independent clause is her boss is the subject, scolded is the verb, her is the object. So she was late to work is one independent clause. Her boss scolded her is another independent clause, but these two things are correlated. So we have used here a kind of word called coordinating conjunction so that gives the reason. She was late to work. That's why her boss scolded her. It means so her boss scolded her, right? So next sentence, you see, I love chocolates. Of course, I think many number of people like chocolates. I love chocolates, yet I don't eat chocolate ice cream. See the kind of, contradiction presented here again. I love chocolates. Eating chocolates, I'm really fond of it. But what is the another version, another independent clause? I don't like eating chocolate ice cream. You get different flavors of ice cream. You have a strawberry, okay, you have chocolate ice cream, or else you have vanilla flavor. You have different flavors available in the market. But as far as chocolate ice cream is concerned, or the chocolate flavor of ice cream is concerned, I don't eat it. I don't like it. But whereas I love chocolates. So I love chocolates, yet I don't eat chocolate ice cream. So this is how this sentence is presented. So I love chocolate is one independent clause. I don't eat chocolate ice cream is another independent clause. Ganesh does not like the mountain, nor does he like the ocean. See, mountain and ocean, these are the different phenomenons of nature. So Ganesh may have his own, preconceived notions of likings and dislikings. So he does not like going to mountains, and he also does not like going to the ocean. So these are the two things that he does not like. So the sentence says one independent clause is Ganesh does not like the mountain. This is the one independent clause. Another is Ganesh does not like ocean. That is another independent clause. So these two clauses are brought together with the help of a coordinating conjunction nor. So Ganesh does not like the mountain, nor does he like ocean. So this way the sentence is framed. See another sentence here on the screen. I have some important work. See, this is the important clause, main clause, independent clause. I have important work, or I have some important work. So I will be late for the party. So somebody has arranged a party, but I will not be able to reach to the party on time. I'll be a little late because I have some important work. I'll finish it off. Then only I'll start for the party. So the sentence says like this. I have some important work, so I will be late for the party. So these two things are independent, but they are brought together with the help of a coordinating conjunction. So we use different compound sentences, or else I will say different coordinating conjunctions in order to make compound sentences in English. So always remember, these are only 7 in number, but, and, okay, so, yet, nor, or. If you remember these, I think you will never forget about the coordinating conjunctions and the compound sentences. So please remember and, but, or, nor, for, so, yet. So these are the 7 coordinating conjunctions. These are required in order to bring two different elements together and form the compound sentence. The compound sentence is a combination of two different independent clauses which are brought together. So with this note, I come to an end for this particular very short topic titled as compound sentences in English.